What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Rashid Banks and I'm a day trader here in Dubai, and today we're going to be breaking down a solid trade setup on ETH that made me close to $10,000. Now, I apologize in advance for not uploading. Just went through some personal issues, a lot of ups and downs, but we are back, baby. So make sure to smash the subscribe button for a lot of these trade breakdowns that are coming very shortly. Let's get into the charts, guys, because we don't have time to waste. Now, if you guys need an exchange to trade on, I personally use BYBIT. I'll leave my link down in the description below. And if you can't, KYC or BYBIT's not available in your country, then I would suggest using Blowfin. Again, link in the description below. But with that being said, guys, let's jump straight into the charts. Now, I traded ETH in this case, and to be honest, I never actually trade ETH. It's a very choppy coin, and I just usually try to stay away from it, but in this case, I saw a very clean short setup in a supply zone with an additional confirmation that is a very high probable confirmation, which I'll explain very shortly. So this is what ETH looked like in the moment. And clearly it's actually moving to the upside. And so I would assume a lot of people are actually looking for longs, possibly a breakout over 3,700. You know, it retested it once, failed. And you would think that a lot of people are possibly looking for a long setup here, maybe some sort of a pullback, but I actually was going to short this, and I'm going to explain to you why. The first reason was that because we are entering a very solid supply zone right over here at the $3,700 mark, which means that there's a ton of liquidity that's most likely going to sell off again once it enters this price range. And you know, we saw the rejection once around the $3,700 mark, but if we actually zoom out very quickly on the 4-hour time frame, you'll notice that I have this. Actually, we'll go to the daily time frame for this because we probably need to zoom out a lot more. We'll see that there's this massive trend line as well, all the way from like last few years ago, actually, November of 2021. And this is a trend line that we've seen reject once, reject twice. It tried to break out here, but failed. So the possibility of a rejection here is quite high, only because it has rejected multiple times already. This obviously depends on the momentum of the market, but it also depends on a few other things as well. And we're playing the game of probabilities. So we know that this is a supply zone and that there's liquidity left here that'll most likely sell off. But what really gave me the short signal on this trade was on the 4-hour time frame. And what I saw on the 4-hour time frame is something called the bearish divergence. And that's essentially when you look at the RSI and you see that the RSI has actually made a lower high. And when you see that the RSI has made a lower high, specifically on the 4-hour time frame, this is something that I've back tested personally. I've had a very high success rate. It gives me the signal that there's something's just been over purchased, overbought, and a massive sell-off will occur. How big, we don't know, but we're gonna take our chances. It's good risk to reward ratio. Again, this is something that I've back tested. I've had very high success rate, and a combination of a supply zone with a bearish divergence on the RSI is a very high probable short position and good risk to reward ratio. So I took the trade. Now, usually many people would probably wait for this little trend line over here to break and retest, but because we entered the supply zone and the bearish divergence gave me that confirmation, I actually didn't wait for the break of the trend line. And that's because I really wanted a good entry and I really wanted a tight stop loss, because look, if it's gonna bounce on this trend line, then it's going to possibly skip over my entry, and you know, I would get stopped out in that case because I'd have a lower entry. So I was more comfortable actually getting a higher entry with a tighter stop loss. And in this case, I had a stop loss. I believe I entered right around the 3,661. We'll confirm in a second, but I had my stop right around the 3720 mark. And so because I had a higher entry, I was able to have a tighter stop, because obviously if it breaks above my stop, then it invalidates the supply zone, the bearish divergence as well. And this would have possibly broken above this trend line. But again, it's rejected this trend line, 3,700 psychological number, supply zone with a massive sell-off before, back in December. And the 4-hour bearish divergence on the RSI just gave me very solid clarity and confidence to take this trade. So if we just watch exactly what happened, and before we even do that, I had a risk to reward ratio here of 1 to 2.2, and I was targeting 35.25. And if we just play out and see exactly what happened, it just absolutely tanked. It tanked so hard. Now, I full TP'd at 35.25 because that was part of my game plan. I had my risk to reward ratio set up. But in moments like this, even though you take the bag, you make a profit, it is painful to see. It is so painful to see because, you know, this trade made me roughly around, I believe, $10,000, something close to that. But, you know, it could have made me double, maybe even more than that, because if we continue to play this chart, it actually just continued to dump. So again, as traders, we have to be strategic. We got to follow our rules and strategies. And in this case, I followed my rules and strategies. I also followed my risk management. But this is something that I'm personally working on as well. And, you know, a great way to measure how good of a trader you are is how much of a percentage drop or increase were you able to capture. And in this case, we were able to capture a 3.5% drop. But we could have also captured an 8% drop, or even an 11% drop. So although I am very happy with this setup and I'm very happy with the take profit, because profits are profits, and again, we gotta be happy with what we're able to get, this is something that I'm trying to work on as well. And one way I could have maximized this potential profit here is maybe I could have sold off 75% of my position and moved my stop loss to break even, and then just let the rest ride to Valhalla, right? And that is definitely something that you can do. What I was really concerned about is the possibility of a bounce over here on the 35.25, grabbing liquidity, because we've seen it happen here once, twice, 3 times, and then it could have pretty much just wiped out the remaining profits. And I just didn't want that to happen. I wanted to take home the 10 G's, you know? But, you know, I also could have secured 75% and let the rest ride to the next demand zone. Very proud of this trade, but there's always room for improvement, which is why we have to just kind of look back on these trades and see what we could have done better, what we did wrong, and, you know, learn from our mistakes, but also learn from our profits, right? Because there's always room to learn, especially in day trading, guys, which is why I am so proud of you for watching this video, taking this knowledge. I hope that this can make an impact on your day trading. You know, these validations and signals I have back tested personally, and it has costed me a lot of money, a lot of ups and downs. So, you know, my loss is hopefully your reward at one point in your trading career. All right, guys, so I hope this trade setup on ETH, this solid short setup, was something that you're able to learn from. Now, if you guys want to see more trade setups like this, definitely smash the subscribe button. Also, follow me on X. I'm very active on there as well, and I actually share some of my trade setups there as well, live when I take them. So I highly do suggest you follow me on X. If you guys enjoyed videos like this, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. We got so much more content coming your way, and trust me, you're not gonna wanna miss it. It's your boy Rashid Banks. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.